let's talk about multiplying polynomials. Let's use the stack method. This is more traditional, kind of like our standard algorithm. So I have this quantity 8n plus 1 times the quantity 6n minus 3. What I can do is if I stack them, and then we can treat it like a multiplication problem, right? Because don't write this down, but if you think like if I had 18 times 25, right? I would do 5 times 8, 5 times 1, and then I would go to my next row and do 2 times 8, 2 times 1, okay? So we're going to be doing that same thing. It's just we don't know all the numbers. So we're going to do -3, mind your sign, times 1. So -3 times 1 is -3. Then we're going to do -3 times 8n. -3 times 8 is -24 times n. We're done with the -3, okay? Then we come back and we're going to look at the 6n and do the same thing. 6n times 1 is positive 6n. 6n times 8n, 6 times 8 is 48, and times n is n squared. And then you combine, just like you would with multiplication, right? Like terms. So if we do this correctly, like terms are stacked together. So 48n squared, there's no other n squared, so that's 48n squared. -24n plus 6n, that's -18n. And then my constants, -3, there's nothing to add to it, so it's -3. There's my final product. I can't combine anything else. That's the stack method, okay? Let's try it again. All right, so 7x minus 6 times 5x plus 6. So I'm going to stack them first, 7x minus 6 times 5x plus 6. And we start multiplying. Okay, 6 times -6, mind your signs, that's -36. 6 times 7x, 6 times 7 is 42 times x, done with the 6. And now we're going to multiply 5x times each thing. 5x times -6 is -30x. Notice my x's stack. 5x times 7x, 5 times 7 is 35. X times x is x squared. And then you add it together, right? Like terms should be stacked. So 35x squared. 42x minus 30x is positive 12x. And then we have -36. Nothing is added to that. And there's our final answer. Let's try it again. Okay, 4p minus 1, quantity squared. Remember, this tells us that this is actually 4p minus 1 times 4p minus 1. Okay, so we're going to stack it. And then we multiply. Okay, -1 times -1, mind the signs, is positive 1. -1 times 4p is -4p, done with -1. 4p times -1 is -4p, line up the p's. 4p times 4p, 4 times 4 is 16, p times p is p squared. And then you add up like terms. So we're going to have 16p squared. -4p minus 4p is -8p plus 1, as far as I can go. Done. Woohoo! All right, what happens? We have a binomial times a trinomial. Don't freak out, still stack it, okay? It's just going to be a little bit longer. So we're going to have 6a squared minus a plus 2. Okay, always stack the longer one on top, okay? Then 4a plus 2. Just formatting wise, it's going to be a little bit nicer for your brain. All right, same exact thing. 2 times all the things on top, and then 4a times everything on top, right? So 2 times 2 is positive 4, so I do plus 4. 2 times -1a is going to be -2a. 2 times 6a squared, 2 times 6 is 12, times a squared. I'm done with the 2. Now we do it with 4a. 4a times 2, 2 times 4 is 8, times a, and it's positive because 4a and 2 are both positive. 4a times negative 1a. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. A times a is a squared. And then 4a times 6a squared. 4 times 4 is 24. A times a squared is a cubed. And now we're ready to add up our like terms, okay? Just keep in mind, a squared times a is a cubed because a squared, remember, is a times a. Then we have one more. Remember, the exponent tells me how many of my bases I should have. So a cubed, that's because now I have 3 a's multiplied. All right, so back here, 24a cubed. 12a squared minus 4a is positive a squared. Negative 2a plus 8a is positive 6a. And then we have the plus 4. Whew, a lot of numbers, but that's it. It's multiplication. Be organized, keep it neat, you can do it. That's the stack method.